Peace, Islam, L.A.O.A. Sheekamauga Alamassee-El, coming at y'all live, deep, deep, deep down, Alamassee Arabian country, deep in Arabia, deep in the compound. Understand the game. Move like a real Mo, a real woodland Mo that's on a real renegade tip. You have to adopt a deep understanding of military science into your day-to-day existence, into your day-to-day life. That's why a lot of you NBC civilians, y'all constantly get caught slipping all the time. Y'all get caught slipping by police. Y'all get caught slipping by other nationalities. Y'all get robbed and get everything taken from you all the time. Because if you were NBC, classify yourself as Negro, Black, and colored. You know what I'm saying? And also we'll add in there Aboriginals and alphabet boys and all the goofballs. You know what I'm saying? All of these foreign trademark terms. You know what I'm saying? None of these terms, none of these understandings, and none of these designations give you a national understanding. They don't give you a cause greater than yourself to go outside your door, to wake up every morning and to go outside of your front door every day, representing a cause and an understanding in a nation and a national understanding that is greater than yourself. And then what that does, when you do have a real national understanding, it comes with a flag, a government, or whatever you want to go, clan, a family type of situation, whatever you want to call it. What that's going to do is that's going to give you an understanding that you are of certain value because you represent a cause, you represent a team. So you're going to want to take care of yourself and those around you who also represent the same team. You're going to want to take very good care of these people and ensure their safety as well as your own safety. So you're going to always go outside your door with an aspect of military science. You're going to watch your surroundings. You're going to understand your surroundings. You're going to armor yourself. You're going to have weapons. You know what I'm saying? You're going to plan your routes. You know what I'm saying? You're going to understand your communication. You're going to know where to go and where not to go. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to just be out here. You're not going to just be out here in flip-flops and sandals just looking like straight up goofies, you know what I'm saying? And shorts and tight jeans, you know what I'm saying? Because you'll understand that wearing some tight jeans or being out here looking just, you understand, like wearing tight clothes and tight jeans like a lot of you youngsters and goofies out here doing now. If you had an understanding of military science, you would understand that in any situation can turn into, say, an active shooter situation. You could be pursued by some type of adversarial force or adversarial being or anything of that nature. Any of that stuff can happen at any time. You could be pulled over by hostile police. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're sitting up here walking around these streets with your head exposed, with these goofy colored dreads, wearing some tight capri jeans, you know what I'm saying? Wearing a tight shirt, some tight capri jeans with holes cut all in them, looking like straight up clowns. You know what I'm saying? How are you supposed to get away, duck and dodge, or act like an active woodland gorilla or anything, or defend yourself or anything, wearing some tight jeans? How are you, if you're being chased, if some hostile highway patrolman or any of these people, policy enforcer, any of these people get in pursuit of you and you know your life is in danger, how the hell are you supposed to get away? How are you supposed to hide a weapon? How are you supposed to do anything? You know what I'm saying? See, that lack of military science to your day-to-day life comes from lack of having a national understanding. Because when you have a national understanding, you're going to incorporate a lot more military science to your life. So you're going to wear loose-fitting clothes. You're going to have a vehicle that's going to be conducive to any situation. So you may, instead of buying a goofy car, a goofy luxury car, or a Lambo or some dumb shit, you may rather invest in a bulletproof Hummer or something like that. Or something like that you can go off road in. You know what I'm saying? If the roads are not clear, you might invest in like some extra supplies in your home. You know what I'm saying? You may invest in instead of wasting money on a Gucci bag or a dang on Birkin bag or something like that. You might want to buy a whole 1,000 round piece of 7.62 bullets for your AK or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just military science. You might have compasses in your home, and you might have maps in your home. You know what I'm saying? You might really understand some military science so you can really defend and protect yourself because you understand your protection falls on you. See, when you clowns are adopting NBC designations, what that does is that puts you in a childlike state. So Negro, Black, and colored. alphabet boy, whatever demonstration y'all want to adopt, that's putting you in a childlike situation under stewardship of foreign entities. So you're going to naturally regress into a childlike state, thinking that you're supposed to be protected and defended by somebody else, because essentially you are, because you're not managing your own estate, your own nation, your own neighborhood, or anything. So the buck doesn't necessarily fall on you in your mind, because you're like in a childlike ward of the state state of mind. You know what I'm saying? So you are always going to be vulnerable to get. That's why all these Asiatic women be going missing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? People be going missing, be getting disappeared. They get snatched up by the police and get their heads beat in. You know what I'm saying? All type of nonsense because of the lack of the military understanding of a lot of Mississippian people, because they don't have a national understanding of who they are. You know what I'm saying? And any clown that has come at you in the last 100 years under any other designation other than a national, other than the one that's pushing a national understanding with a flag, a government, an ambassador, a council, you know what I'm saying, group economic type of understanding, a situation, a protocol. These people are clowns and they've always failed you. You know what I'm saying? So if a clown came at you pushing some goofy color designation that didn't come with no flag or no internationally recognized type of nationhood, they're not issuing no proclamations, they're not petitioning other nations for international recognition or anything like that, then they're just goofy clowns. And next time you see them, you slap the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? These people should not even be able to walk the damn streets, because they have wasted generation after generation. They have wasted the lives and time of generation after generation, because a lot of these clowns who've been put in these positions, in these leadership positions in the community, a lot of them know better. They've always known better. So you got to hold these clowns accountable. They ain't did nothing but waste your damn time and get more and more people harmed and killed and disappeared and all type of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? If they were never pushing a national demonstration like Noble Drew Ali was, then they some straight up damn clowns. They always have been. And just charge them to the game, kick them to the curb, and don't let these people come amongst you no more. You know what I'm saying? You see them out there, man, for real, chump them off, man. We ain't got, literally there's no time to be playing with these people no more. All these street corner preachers and motherfuckers out yelling at you on the corner and all that, which is one of the things we finna address in this drop. All these people that are not pushing no international recognized entity or nationhood or anything like that, they are time-wasting bums and clowns. All they doing is taking people money, and a lot of these people got the king, a lot of these clowns got the king mentality. They're only in this to satisfy their own egos. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of brothers, a lot of people, male and female, but particularly a lot of brothers that came through in the last few decades. You know what I'm saying? They done started these fake movements. They started these fake movements with no national understanding or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And they do it because they want to get women. They want to get money. They want to be the king. You know what I'm saying? They want to be the individual king. But understand, see, the history of the Moroccan Empire has always been a confederacy. The Al-Moroccan Empire, Al-Morocc in North America and all across the expanded empire was always a damn confederacy. You know what I'm saying? So there was no damn king. We were united with a psychological psychosis type of understanding of our high Muslim type of Yahudi type of culture, and understand a monotheistic type of culture that the Most High, or Allah, you know what I'm saying, governs the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no king governing this damn kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And you read the book of Samuel, you'll see that's how the Israelites fell off. They fell off so many times, there's too many to count. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Israelites in a biblical sense. But in the book of Samuel, it actually details one instance where they fell off because they wanted a king instead of God ruling the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? That is never going to work, partner. So anybody coming through with any people that have came through, but they want to, well, I'm the Messiah or I'm the king type of demonstration in the last 100 years. These people have always been straight up clowns. You know what I'm saying? Because again, they're going to get scripture always taught us to not engage in that type of goofball behavior. Allah, God, the Most High, rules the damn kingdom. Don't no king rule the damn kingdom. You might have a hierarchy of holy men and holy electors and all of that, but ain't no one man ruling the kingdom. That's why America's always been a confederacy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no king, ain't no commie king or nothing like that, or no government or no big brother running the confederacy, the Moroccan confederacy, the Moorish confederacy. It never has and never will. You know what I'm saying? So for real, understand. You know what I'm saying? All of these clowns that have always wanted to be poverty pimps and kings, but they have never brought you no national understandings or solutions that could get you international recognition and actually get you international help and assistance in your situation where you're literally cut off from international help and under occupation. You know what I'm saying? These people are straight up clowns. And again, for real, y'all should surround these people next time you see them in the streets. Anybody that didn't want to be a king or never brought you no national understanding or did anything, but they took your money and they gave you some fake hope. For real, when y'all see these clowns in your neighborhood and industry, y'all need to surround them and just run them down the gangster line and smack the hell out of them. Baby powder smack the hell out of these people. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, form the Moorish gangster line. Run these clowns down the damn line, and I mean, they should get 100 slaps, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. I'm talking about hard baby powder pimp slaps, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they are just straight up bums and clowns, you know what I'm saying? Real talk. Again, anybody has not given you a flag. Noble Drew Ali was he gave you a flag, a historically recognized entity that you can actually use internationally, that is internationally recognized and documented. None of these other clowns. No Marcus Garveys, none of these people. None of these people ever gave you no national understanding that's internationally recognized, which means they was wannabe fake Israelite type of kings. You know what I'm saying? They wanted the power and the glory to their damn self, but they weren't trying to help the people. Not like that. Because if you have that understanding and you really understand scripture, you understand that there is no king for the Ishmaelite people. There is no king. Allah Most High rules the damn kingdom. Always has and always will. So kill yourself if you think otherwise. You know what I'm saying? But for real. But anyway, in this particular drop, we're going to kind of go in because there's a lot of confusion out here. Again, one thing we're getting in order. You know what I'm saying? Because we as the Mississippian people are trying to come up out of our state of the real Mississippians who really give a damn. We are in the process of coming out of our dormant state. You know what I'm saying? And that means we got to do a lot of, you have to clean your house first. You know what I'm saying? You can't go out and do anything in the world until you have your own house situated and in order and clean. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get a lot of the clowns up out the way. And one of the methods that me personally that I feel like that needs to be used is any one of these so-called movements, organizations, are just clowns of people out here who are not pushing an actual nationhood, an actual historic nation that's actually recognized through treaty. They're not telling you they're going to go by an actual nationality. They're just giving you some fake made up term that they came up with that ain't got no flag and ain't got no international recognition. You know what I'm saying? So somebody can actually come here and be like, all right, you can have another nation somewhere across the world. Because again, look at how you can do the knowledge to how any nation, any active nation in the current state of affairs of the world, in the current world affairs operates. They all have most of them have alliances, and the ones who have the least alliances are the ones who are always getting their ass kicked on a worldwide level. You know what I'm saying? The ones who have the least effective alliances. You know what I mean? So let's look at the so-called United States. And again, the United States is actually the original United States Republic was actually an agreement with the Mississippian people. You know what I'm saying? And our European family. So there again, even though it's the current version of it is very much a damn near criminal organization. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of criminality in the so-called current version of corporate United States. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it a buck. But the historic United States, the Republic, and what it really stands for is actually a noble agreement. You know what I'm saying? So there's never been no beef. But understand, all so-called nations, they have international alliances. You know what I'm saying? So no nation can function on its own. You have to have friends. You have to have economic trade agreements and ties. You have to have military alliances. You have to have these things in order to move around. You can't just be a big Billy badass bully and go around the world taking everything. You're gonna have to have people helping you do this. The so-called United States has always had and have alliance nations that align with them to make them be able to be a powerful superpower. Same with China. Same with Russia. Same with any other hell. You can even look at a country like Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Let's do the knowledge to the Afghanistan war. Now, we know the history of that war. But one thing that made the so-called insurgents in Afghanistan, successful is they had a few critical alliances in like Pakistan and whatever other little small nations that were assisting them. They didn't do it by themselves. They weren't able to effectively fight a guerrilla war for 20 years by not having no alliances and not having no damn help. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, and any other, I don't care if you go to Vietnam, any successful guerrilla warfare or any successful nation that conducted a successful military campaign. Hell, you can even go back to The World War II with the so-called Axis powers and the so-called Allied powers. They call them the Allied powers. They had to come together and gang to win that war. But even the Axis powers, with Japan, Italy, so-called Germany, they had to work together. You know what I'm saying? Nations have to work together. So you have to be an internationally recognized entity to receive help and assistance. Now, the problem with the Mississippian people, aka the Moroccans, you know what I'm saying, is you've had too many clowns. Again, we was under military occupation after, we was put under martial law after 1865. You know what I'm saying? So we've been under war powers ever since. So what has happened was you had a whole, because the Sultan, again, even during the war, you still had an active Moroccan Sultan in America that was doing secret diplomacy with the United States on our behalf and all of that. Even though it was just a disagreement. But a lot of our people, the renegade Confederates, you know what I'm saying, they got put really under POW status after that war. So that's when they started putting everybody under this 14th Amendment nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So now, instead of being a Moor or whatever whatever Barbary nation you was a part of, you became a 14th Amendment NBC Negro, Black, and Colored. You know what I'm saying? They basically had you under POW status after the Civil War. But the Sultan was still doing secret diplomacy with the United States. Don't get it messed up. Even after during Reconstruction and everything. You know what I'm saying? But we were essentially after you got put under war powers military occupation post 1865. That has never stopped. That literally cut Morocco, the American portion of the Al-Moroccan Empire off from international help. You know what I'm saying? And the main thing there were treaties. There were always treaties that were still in effect. But the main play was with these people who took over the so-called United States Republic in 1871. Their main goal was to terrorize, miseducate, keep people in bondage, keep people just militarily occupied long enough for them to raid this land. So they had to do everything in their power to keep us from going back to our the Moroccan jurisdiction understanding. They use terrorist tactics, they use miseducation in schools, all type of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So that essentially gave them a long period of time for them to run amok around the land, stealing, killing, and thieving. You know what I'm saying? Taking everything. That's why all these so-called American industries are gone and sold to China. You know what I'm saying? Because these clowns done sat up here and straight up denationalized the Moroccans who used to control all of that, and they done stole all the industry. They did it long enough to keep us asleep long enough and knocked upside our head, Hiram a beef, you know what I'm saying? Knocked upside our head long enough to steal and raid the land, and that's exactly what they do. Again, y'all wonder why Asia and China got every goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? They stole these clowns, these foreign clowns literally sat up here and raided America for our indigenous Moorish industries and sold it to the rest of the world and got rich doing it. And they really think they ain't finna pay for all that at some point. But that's exactly what they did. You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, you've always had a lot of high copper-colored Mississippian people that have always known this. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it messed up. They've known this. So these people have created a lot of fake movements because they want to be kings. And they did everything under the sun except tell you that the main thing you were missing was a nationality and an internationally recognized understanding. You know what I'm saying? An internationally recognized industry that could speak for you on an international stage. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the time we're in right now. It's really time to call a lot of these people to task that wasted time and lied all this time, and it was on some more hating nonsense. They never emphasized what really needed to go down for our people. Got to call them out, and they need to be taken to task for the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? If they want to give me no flag and give me no national understanding, for real, all they need to get is these five. You know what I'm saying? These 5 fingers. You know what I'm saying? What did the 5 fingers say to the face on some real shit? You know what I'm saying? Anyway. But in this particular drop, again, like I said, we're just emphasizing that reformation and reform and repatriation to this nation is the order of the day. So anybody pushing a demonstration that is not promoting that type of political movement or repatriation to your nation, they just wasting time and they finna get handled out here. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be very hard for these people because the real Moses is coming. We're not playing no games because for real. Times are too crucial right now to be playing games with these clowns out here. Just out here wasting people's time. You know what I'm saying? This is Morocco, and if you in Morocco, you got to be Moroccan, or you can be subject to foreign powers, whatever you want to do. But if you want to be on the Mississippian side, Your real blooded side, if you Mississippian, you got to claim, you got to be Al-Moroccan. It is what it is. 5 or 6, you got to be Al-Moroccan. You know what I'm saying? That's what we finna drive home in this little drop. So check it out. In this drop, we're gonna talk about the Moroccan Hebrews, or some people, and you look at some articles, they'll call them the Moroccan Jews, but the Moroccan Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, and this is kind of gonna break down the falsehood of the so-called Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And again, there's no knock on the so-called Hebrew Israelites, because they come with a lot. These brothers in the current Hebrew Israelite demonstration that you see everywhere on these corners running their mouths and yelling at folks and stuff like that. Just crazy folks, man. You know what I'm saying? But they do bring a lot of historic truths and understandings if you really listen to them. But, and you know what I'm saying, I ain't necessarily knocking their whole movement and their understanding, because the so-called Israelite people and the Israelite demonstration does exist. And there has been a historic intermarriage between the Moabites and the Israelites through Ruth and through other Israelites, because it all goes back to Abraham. You know what I'm saying? And everybody know that. Ishmael and Israel. You know what I'm saying? The same, you know what I'm saying? Two on the same corner, 5 and the 6. That's the old bloodline. It is what it is. And one thing about it, America, aka the Al-Moroccan Empire, is majority Ishmael. You know what I'm saying? It's majority Moroccan. Al-Moroccan, which is Moab, which is Moabite, Canaanite. You know what I'm saying? That's the majority of the culture and the bloodline over here. You know what I'm saying? But the Israelites have always been here. You know what I'm saying? They've been here for a long time. The so-called Hebrews, they've been here amongst us for a long time, because we are literally the same phenotype in a pure form, in the pure blood. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And we've always, even though we've had a lot of political disagreements, as time went on, we done had wars with each other, we always came together. We always had a 5 and 6 alliance against all these other clowns, against Edom, against Edomites, against Babylon, against the Romans, against everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because we are the same original phenotype. And those who always rolled with us, we was always under the same phenotype. It's Asiatic people. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna break it down there. If you're gonna claim this, if you're gonna deal with the Israelite demonstration, you know what I'm saying? Because again, a lot of us are a mixed people. In America, it's mostly Moabite. So majority of the American blood, so-called American Mississippian blood, is Moabite. You know what I'm saying? But the Mississippian, the so-called 6 Canaanite, the Israelite demonstration, the so-called Yahudi demonstration has been here for a long time amongst us since ancient times. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do, the distinction is there is no nation in Morocco called no Hebrew Israelite nation. It does not exist, because now we're getting all the goofball preschool stuff about the paint. If you're going to deal with the so-called Israelite culture, you got to claim to be a so-called Moroccan Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? A so-called Moroccan Jew. That's different than a so-called, and again, no disrespect, no hate to nobody culture. I understand that so-called J word, that J word can get a lot of stuff started, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to do a distinction. The Moroccan Hebrews are of Mississippian stock. Don't get it messed up. You know what I'm saying? The original Moroccan Hebrews are of Asiatic stock, like our people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're just doing a distinction between us and, you know, any of these other people who they claim to be so-called Yahudi Jews or any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be in America and you're going to be running your mouth, you know what I'm saying, going to be on corners yelling at everybody and all this other stuff, y'all going to have to start checking in. You know what I'm saying? Y'all going to have to go to Mecca, Chicago, and get down with the folks. Get down with the original Moroccan Hebrews, the Sephardi's, the real ones. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's always been in Morocco, because again, Morocco's in North America and abroad, but it's headquartered in North America. So if you here, you got to claim to be a Moroccan Hebrew. That is what it is. It's the Moroccan Hebrew situation. Ain't gonna be no more Hebrew Israelites. Y'all ain't gonna be no more Hebrew Israelite. I mean, you got the right to form whatever you're gonna form, but you're not gonna be recognized nationally in America by nobody, not by the Moes, by the folks and peoples, by the Mississippians. You're not going to be recognized by Israel, the so-called state of Israel. You're not going to be recognized by the United Kingdom. You're not going to be recognized by nobody, because there is no nation called Hebrew Israelite land. There's no nation called that, but there is a Morocco. There's the Al-Moroccan Empire. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna have to drop all the nonsense and get down with the Moroccan Hebrew demonstration, which is a historic demonstration. You know what I'm saying? It is Moroccan Hebrew, Moroccan Yahudi. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. We're going to talk about the so-called Moroccan Jews, you know what I'm saying, who they historically were, how they descend from how they've always been in Morocco, but, you know, they kind of sojourned across the world and they came back as the so-called Sephardi Jews, you know what I'm saying, coming from the Iberian, so-called Iberia and so-called Spain. And we've already done the knowledge to how Spain, even though it was in Iberia over there in Europe, it was in South America too. But again, they were doing the so-called Catholic Reconquista, so they were running a lot of the Sephardis and the Moors up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna do the knowledge to that, and we just gonna start to show that a lot of these so-called Israelite folks out here talking all this crazy stuff and doing whatever they doing, they gonna have to get down with Moroccan Hebrews demonstration from here going forward, or they're not gonna get no play and no recognition. It's the Moroccan Hebrews, the Moroccan Yahudis, or the Moroccan Jews. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have to get down with that. If y'all gonna have to get down with national status. Of running your mouths about being some Hebrew Israelites, that just really ain't gonna work no more, and it's gonna really carry no damn weight. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. All right. We'll talk about the Moroccan Jews, you know what I'm saying, the Moroccan Hebrews. Now, the historic name, one of the names in so-called Morocco, of the Moroccan Hebrews, and y'all remember this, is Al-Yahud Al-Maghriba. Okay, that's the Moroccan, so-called Moroccan Jews. Again, I'm going to say it again. So, y'all talking about y'all some Hebrew Israelites. This is what y'all really need to be calling y'allself. If y'all really want to get down with the old historic power, the old historic Moroccan powerhouse that we used to be. You know what I'm saying? Y'all used to be Al-Yahud Al-Maghriba. Ain't no such thing as no. They ain't never called y'all ain't never called yourself no Hebrew Israelites. Not in Morocco. Not when y'all were power players over there in Europe and Iberia and over here. Y'all were Al-Yahud Al-Maghriba. You know what I'm saying? So get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Now, and again, we understand that so-called Morocco is in North America and parts of North Africa and everything, but the Morocco major, Al-Maroc Maghreb major is North America. You know what I'm saying? So, just doing some notes. It says that there's an ancient community that so-called existed in Morocco, ancient Moroccan Jew community that existed in Morocco as far back as early as 70 CE. So again, it goes back to 70 CE. That's how long the so-called Israelite demonstration has been in so-called Morocco. You know what I'm saying? So we go way back. You know what I'm saying? It's 5 and 6. This shit go way back. I told you that's the original, that's old American culture. You know what I'm saying? All right. So it goes again. And it says, in deep science, it says the ancient so-called Israelite Jewish community in Morocco, it predated the formation of so-called Judaism and the Talmud. Okay? Because everybody know, and this is what separates a lot of you folks now running sitting out here yelling at folks from the ancient old so-called Yahudi people. The old Torah was supposed to be the oral Torah. It wasn't even supposed to be written down. That's how gangster your ancestors were. They memorized everything. You know what I'm saying? Like everything was on top of the dome. We had to write a lot of stuff, even though we had written language and all that. Things had to be written down for all these other people a lot of times. We used to remember everything in the dome piece. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody used to hate on us. They're like, man, I always talk about oral tradition and all that because our memories have always been sharp. So back in the day, they didn't even write it down. They wrote it down as the Talmud later, you know, when the Roman conquest and all of that. But it was originally the oral Torah. So if you really want to be real about it, y'all supposed to memorize the 10 Commandments and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That it was the oral Torah. It was supposed to be memorized. It was not supposed to be written down like that. So it says the Moroccan Jewish community predated Judaism and the Talmud. You know what I'm saying? So again, y'all supposed to be going back to the oral Torah. Y'all supposed to have them sharp minds. You know what I'm saying? Like the gods of earth be doing. You know, they used to had to memorize the mathematics and all that stuff. That's how our people used to be. We had them sharp memories. You feel me? All right, so check it out. All right, so it goes back to 70 CE. All right, so and then we just gonna talk about in 1492, of course, they had the Alhambra decree, and everybody know about that. You know, it's when they started running the so-called Moors out of Spain, which is this is South America. And this so-called Iberian Peninsula, you know what I'm saying? So they started running anybody who was practicing the old culture of keeping covenants with the Most High, wasn't really trying to deal with paganism and all type of crazy stuff. And, you know, this new Roman Catholic crazy stuff that these people were on. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who was in the original covenants and the original phenotype, Mississippian, they had to get up out of Spain. You know what I'm saying? They was coming at these people. And a lot of it was economic. It was religious, but it was economic because, again, in the old world, the Muslims and the Yahudis had all the trade secrets. They had the economy locked down. We knew where everything was. You know what I'm saying? We knew where all the money, the gold and everything was. We had that on lock. You know what I'm saying? So when these new powers was coming up, They had to get us up out of there. They had to get this culture up out of there, try to get rid of denationalization, get rid of the languages, and they had to do the Spanish Inquisition to torture our people to get us to tell them where everything was so they could try to run their little military conquest. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. I said the second wave came after the Alhambra decree. And then, one thing you got to understand about so-called Judaism, the Judaism type of situation, that is one culture that literally it does not come from America. You know what I'm saying? It does not come from Morocco. It comes from the Middle East. The whole thing when they talk about Judaism, that's something that they deal with. Our stuff is Al-Moroccan. You know what I'm saying? So again, it goes back to the oral traditions and memorizing God's law off the top of your dome. You know what I'm saying? That's what we deal with. A lot of these other people, they have to have stuff written down for them. They ain't got them sharp memories like our people. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, it's not, Judaism has nothing to do with the Moroccan Yahudi traditions. You know what I'm saying? So-called Judaism, they don't have nothing to do with Al-Yahud Al-Maghriba. You know what I'm saying? Or Andalusi. It does not have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. So it said 1492, a second wave of so-called Jews came to Morocco from Spain and Portugal, South America. They said the second wave that came, they embraced the so-called Moroccan Sephardic liturgy. Okay, so that was okay. And the Sephardi culture, all that is a lot of the so-called Yahudi people, or the Jewish people, the Mississippian phenotype having so-called Hebrew people that were up in Europe and South America, because a lot of them had, over the years, and we were running those areas. A lot of people had migrated out, and they were getting that money all abroad, all in the empires, the Moroccan Empire abroad and the Moorish Empire abroad, where we was doing our thing. A lot of these so-called Moroccan Hebrews, they was out there getting their money. So, but when they all got exiled and came back, we had mass immigration back to so-called Morocco, which again is North America, and it's over there in North Africa. You know what I'm saying? So when they were coming back, they were calling themselves the Sephardis. You know what I'm saying? That's just what their name was. They were the Iberian so-called Hebrews, coming from South America and coming from so-called Iberian Peninsula. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the Sephardi. So that means these are like repatriating. These are our repatriating people coming back home. You know what I'm saying? So they say the Sephardi are descendants of the Iberian Jews. Now they are not the so-called Ashkenazi so-called Jews. Okay, and this is a distinction. No knock on anybody's culture, but we're just distinguishing ourselves. The Sephardis are the niggas, the Negro Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? When they did all this stuff talking about Negroes, the Hebrews, whatever. These are the Sephardis. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who got kicked out of so-called Spain, which is South America and the Iberian Peninsula. And that's just documented. It's not no fake hate speech or nothing like that. It's just documented facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. You can't hate on documented facts. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. It said, just doing the knowledge, man. It said the Moroccan so-called Jews, the Moroccan Hebrews, they prospered in Spain under Islamic rule. And of course, so they was just getting that money. You know what I'm saying? Wherever we went, again. The Israelites, again, we've always had an alliance, but understand the Moabites, the Ishmaelites, the Moors, the Muslims have always been the military and the law. So wherever we went, we will hold down and create an orderly society where everybody could come and get their money. All of our people, whatever designation they were, they could come and get their money, because the Moors were always the military and the law. So we could keep a society together where our people, whatever designation they were, they could just get their money and prosper and do their thing. You know what I'm saying? We kept order wherever we went. You know what I'm saying? We known for that. Feel me? So it just said the Sephardis of the Moroccan Hebrews, they prospered in so-called Spain, which is South America and Iberian Peninsula, all the way up until 1492. So they was getting that money like we was getting that money. We was just balling. You know what I'm saying? And that's why everybody be hating on the Mississippian people in the, you know what I'm saying, the so-called 5 and 6, because we was always balling on their sorry asses. They could not get on our level. It just is what it is. Y'all be hating because y'all could not get on our level. We was sitting up in castles balling on you clowns, and y'all sitting up there like peasants, like, damn, especially over there in Europe. Let me show you how goofy all you peasants were over there in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Them castles over there in Europe, so-called Germany, Spain, all that. You know what I'm saying? The Moorish people was living in them castles, first of all. And y'all was sitting up there mad because y'all peasant clowns who later became the settlers and these colonists and all this other stuff. Y'all was sitting up there mad over there in Europe Cause y'all was living in shacks and barns, but you got the Moorish ballers sitting up there living in castles. You know what I'm saying? With electricity, AC and all, and heat and all that stuff. And y'all clowns sitting up there living in shacks, living with barn animals and stuff like that. That's why y'all play. That's why y'all be player hating to this day. That's why y'all got mad over there in Europe. Y'all had to try to run us out of Europe, and a lot of y'all clowns got mad in South America. You know what I'm saying? Because we was up there balling on y'all clowns. You feel me? So just keep it a buck, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, it said the Moroccan Jews prospered in Spain under Islamic rule. Their fortunes declined after 1492. In the following centuries, so again, they were all coming back to Morocco, aka North America, aka, you know what I'm saying, North Africa. So in the following centuries, conversos were banished as well from Spain, and the colonies also migrated to Morocco, America, and reclaimed their so-called Judaism. And that's where you get tribes like the so-called Chickasaw, because all these people came back. All these people came back, and they just came into these Barbary nations, because these Barbary nations, they had, in the Barbary nations, you had people that practiced so-called Muslim culture, and you had people that practiced so-called Hebrew culture. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a whatever designation, whatever town you were in, but these people practiced the same, but they looked, dressed, talked, and acted like exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? They all wore turbans. They all wore the old school, the old school royal clothing. You know what I'm saying? The long tunics, the you know what I mean? The caftans, all that. We was always dressing royal and noble. You know what I mean? So when they came back, like the so-called Chickasaw, they have books written on the old culture of the Chickasaw, and it was straight up so-called. It was exactly in line with the whole so-called Israelite culture from the so-called scripture, the Chickasaw. So these were some Moroccan so-called Hebrews that came back, and they were down there in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? So the culture has always been here. So when these people were coming back, that's where they were going. They were going to Mississippi. They was going to Texas. You know what I'm saying? They was going to Chicago. They was going to Ohio. You feel me? We've always been here doing the same stuff. Again, you might have been a Hebrew, so you might have been down like a Crip, or you might have been a GDBD, whatever. People, you might have been folks. You know what I'm saying? And then if you was Muslim coming back, then you was just people. It is what that culture has always been here. It ain't nothing new under the sun. But again, we're making a distinction. There's no Hebrew Israelite nation in America. There is the Moroccan Hebrews. So y'all got to claim the Al-Moroccan Empire, regardless of whether y'all want to be 5 or 6. Y'all got to claim Moroccan, Moorish. You know what I'm saying? And that's going forward. That just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Okay, and they said conversos banished from Spain and the colonies also migrated to Morocco. You know what I'm saying? So conversos, we know the conversos are people who kind of convert. They were either old Muslims or they were old Hebrews, and they converted. They so-called converted to Roman Catholicism or whatever. Under duress. You know what I'm saying? Because they just wanted to stay where they was at in South America or Spain or Iberia. And they wanted to keep what they had, so they just went ahead and converted. You know what I'm saying? So they were the conversos. But this is how messed up them Catholics were. You know what I'm saying? This is how deep their hatred is for the Mississippian people. You know what I'm saying? They was like, we don't care if your ass converted or not. You got to get the hell up out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's why all the Mississippian people, they came right home. That's why everybody came back. So when they talking about the so-called Dutch, the so-called the early Europeans and all the people that was coming back up here, even there was mass migration of Mississippians from South America too. The Incas and all this stuff, they was all coming back home because we was fighting with the so-called crazy Roman Catholic Spaniards and all these people. They all just came home. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, it is what it is. Now they say before the this is gonna be some deep stuff. Okay. Now I just wanted to do and it's not like a real deep history. Like it was just, I really wanted to say this to say that the so-called Moroccan Hebrews have been here a long time in Morocco with the Moabites, with the Ishmaelites. They have been here a long time with us. So again, y'all got this, like all the Hebrew Israelite stuff. That, you know what I'm saying? You got the right to do that because there's religious freedom in America. But you will never have a nationality in America called some Hebrew Israelite. It's just not going to happen. So y'all are not going to be under a vine and fig tree that's going to offer you any type of protection, any type of defense or anything. Y'all are always going to be wars of the state with that type of demonstration. Y'all are always going to be taking orders from another entity talking about y'all some Hebrew Israelites. Y'all have to claim Moroccan Hebrews. Y'all got to claim Al-Yahudi, Al-Maghribi. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Now, I did want to talk about how, and this is how different. This is how okay. You never hear no Hebrew Israelites talking about this. This is one aspect. There's plenty of aspects we can talk about, but I really wanted to go into a certain type of music called Andalusi classical music. You know what I'm saying? And I want to show how Andalusian classical music is pretty much what American music is today. So-called blues, jazz, R&B, rap, everything. It all comes from Andalusi classical music, which is our old music here in America and over there in North Africa and over there in Spain and all of that. That's our old school music. There was Islamic and so-called Hebrew. You know what I'm saying, and Arabic and all of that stuff. That was the old music, and that turned into all of these new genres that we have today. Classical music, like I say, R&B, rhythm and blues. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, ragtime, whatever demonstration, whatever demonstration you want to deal with now. This so-called an American or European type of music. You know what I'm saying? It all comes from Andalusi classical music, and we're gonna do the knowledge to that real quick. So check it out. It says, okay. All right, let's say before the arrival, and I'm just doing some notes on Andalusian classical music. You know what I'm saying? This is because the so-called Moroccan Hebrews and the Moroccan Jews had a lot to do with the development of Andalusian classical music. That's because we the same people. You know what I'm saying? So when you go back and you like it's like specifically like some of the funk and the R&B from like the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the best music ever produced in the history of music. You know what I'm saying? Like go listen to like old Philly soul or the Stylistics. Go listen to like old Roy Ayers, or go listen to, you know what I'm saying? Go listen to old Motown or any of these old compositions. They were heavily orchestrated pieces and tunes. You know what I'm saying? So when you listen to Philly soul, they used to have like Teddy Pendergrass and all that. They used to have like these orchestras and stuff like that. They had orchestras creating the soundscapes for these brothers to do their thing, singing and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they really used to have the Philadelphia Philharmonic Orchestra, a part of these old R&B songs. That is a classic Andalusian classical music. You know what I'm saying? That's where it descends from. And we're gonna prove that. We're gonna do the knowledge to that right now. Okay. Now it says, before the arrival of the Sephardi Jews, Moroccan Jews developed traditional, so-called Moroccan Jews helped develop traditions of Andalusian classical music. And we already know Andalusia is in America. Al-Andalus was Spain over there in the Iberian Peninsula, but Andalusia is over here in America. So it's called Andalusian classical music. Al-Andalus is Spain. Just keep it a buck. So that means Andalusian classical music was in America. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, now, and again, I ain't never heard no, and again, no knock on y'all, but I ain't never heard none of y'all Hebrew Israelites talk about no Andalusian classical music. But there's articles about how so-called the Moroccan Hebrews helped develop Andalusian classical music. So why no Hebrew Israelite ever talked about something like that? Because again, it's the Moroccan. Y'all got to drop the nonsense, and now y'all got to claim Al-Yahud Al-Maghriba. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Okay, Andalusian classical music allegedly was born in the Emirate of Cordoba. You know what I'm saying? So, and we know Cordoba, the Emirate of Cordoba. There's a Cordoba over there in so-called Al-Andalus, Spain. But there's a Cordoba over here in Florida. There's a Cordoba all over here. I think there's one down in Mexico, but there's definitely a Cordoba in Florida and southern Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So if it's Andalusian, that means it come from the South. Like all other music came from the damn South. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep it a buck, man. You know what I'm saying? So in Andalusia, again, it's South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, all that. You know what I'm saying? That's Mississippi, Andalusia. Don't all the American music descend from the South? The blues, the jazz, all that. It's always been that way. Let me keep it a buck, man. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. It says, Andalusian classical music allegedly was born in the Emirate of Cordoba, Andalusia, so-called Al-Andalus. It said by the 10th century, Muslim Iberia became a center of manufacture of musical instruments. Okay, so in the 10th century, so-called Muslim Iberia over there in Spain, and we know if it applies there, it definitely applies over here, was a center of manufacture of musical instruments. So violins, you know what I'm saying, flutes, trumpets, everything we know today. The Muslim Iberia was a center of manufacture. So we've been making instruments. Ain't no Europeans gave us no damn trumpets and no instruments. You have some goofy white supremacists all talking about how, oh, well, you know, you blacks, you so-called blacks or Mississippians or whatever, y'all wouldn't ever, if we never gave y'all instruments If we never gave y'all instruments, y'all would have never learned no music or nothing like that. Just that racist nonsense, you know what I'm saying? But it just said right here, Muslim Iberia, Moorish Iberia was the center of manufacture of them instruments. Y'all ain't never gave us nothing. We gave y'all everything. That means we manufactured all them instruments. So these marching bands and these HBCUs and these southern high schools and all that, we always been rocking like that. That's an old Moorish tradition with this music. You know what I'm saying? We made them instruments, not you clowns. Kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Okay, so it says the English words lute, rebek, guitar, and naker come from the Arabic word oud, rabad, guitara, and nakir. So, okay? So it just said guitar, words like guitar are old. English words like guitar and flute are old, descend from old Arabic words. And everybody knows that English is a hodgepodge of like old Arabic, Latin, and all type of Spanish and all type of different words. English is just like a gumbo of all these old languages we used to speak. And it's a slowed down frequency for certain people to be able to speak these languages, because the old languages like Arabic, Latin, and all that were higher frequency languages, you know what I'm saying? A lot of goofies can't speak, you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So when you speak in English, a lot of your English words are Arabic, clowns, for you Islamic hating clowns, you know what I'm saying? All right, now let's check it out. So it said we just gonna do the knowledge of some of the types of Andalusi music, okay? It says that Andalusi music is broken down into 4 types, okay? One of the types is called nasheed, okay? Nasheed is one of the types. Another type is salt, okay? Another type of Andalusian music is miwasha, okay? And another type is zajal, okay? These are 4 different types of Andalusian music, and it ain't no different from how you got R&B, rap, hip hop, jazz, rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. We've always had different genres. There's nothing new under the sun. These people vote you think that like they created some advanced fake civilization, but there's nothing new under the sun. It just gave you 4 types of Andalusian music. The Andalusia is East-West Florida in the so-called southern Barbary states in the so-called America. You know what I'm saying? That's what Andalusia is. You know what I mean? So check it out. So that means y'all been rapping, y'all been singing, y'all been doing poetry. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been doing poetry slam type of stuff in America. You know what I'm saying? These folks ain't brought y'all nothing, man. Literally nothing. You feel me? All right, now, let's break down just these 4 types. It says nasheed. Nasheed is a monorhyme poem consisted of, okay. Nasheed is a form of Andalusi music, and it says it is a monorhyme poem consisting of ishtael, a precomposed vocal prelude, probably with an instrumental response. Okay, now let's look at that again. It says it's a monorhyme poem consisting of ishtael, a precomposed vocal prelude, probably with an instrumental response. Now that just sounds like some acapella or some drum pattern type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you got different types of songs. You know, you might have some drum like that one rock song like we will rock you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly what that sounds like. It sounds like a mono. You know, these people took everything from us. It said a monorhyme poem with a precomposed vocal prelude, probably with an instrumental response. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I mean, that just sounds like some current modern music right there. All right, now let's check it out. Now, it also has, okay, let's break down. And it also says nasheed consists of another two aspects, and another one is amal. Okay, amal is a composition combining vocal and instrumental elements, which is just basically singing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just basically just singing. That sounds like R&B. It says amal is an old composition from going back to like the 10th and 9th centuries. Composition combining vocal and instrumental elements. So that's just basically singing over an instrumental track. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Andalusian music is what American music comes from. Andalusian music. So y'all start saying Andalusian music. So the current version of American mainstream music, pop music, rap, R&B, all of that is it comes from Andalusian music. Okay. All right. Now let's look at salt. What was salt? Okay. It says salt is a classical monorhyme poem And it said it's just Salt is just a classical monorhyme poem, so that's just poetry. And it said Nasheed and Salt started as poetry. It's just poetry. It's just like spitting the poetry bars or just rapping. It says Nasheed and Salt started as poetry and were later set to music. So what that sound like? That just sound like either you singing a cappella, or you rhyming a cappella, or you rapping a cappella, and it can either be a cappella or it could be set to an instrumental track. You know what I'm saying? So this is going back to the 10, 11, 9th, 8th centuries. So that means we've been making instrumental tracks, and we've been rapping and rhyming and singing in a poetic style over instrumental tracks. That's Andalusi music. The Moroccan so-called Hebrews, Jews, and the Muslims created this type of music. I ain't never heard no Hebrew Israelite talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all don't know nothing. This is Morocco. If you gonna talk about Morocco, you won't have to claim the Al-Maghriba. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't be out here running your damn mouth talking about y'all just making up stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's Al-Maghriba. You know what I mean? Get in line. All right. So now it says, now we're gonna talk about Miwasha. This is very interesting. Okay, so it says strophic Miwasha and Zajal were composed directly as songs. Okay, so this is like a refined version. This is straight up songs. These are songs. So it says some Miwasha had lyrics that fit the melodies, so that sound like some more refined type of music, some old Babyface type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some Babyface, some old school Babyface. You know what I'm saying? You know, but then it said that so some Miwasha lyrics had lyrics that fit the melodies, and others had improvised nonsense syllables. Okay, what does that sound like? Improvised nonsense syllables. Don't that just sound like they just rapping slang over some beats? So ain't nothing new on this. So Miwasha, either it is refined, so it's like either Miwasha had lyrics that fit the melodies, or it had improvised nonsense syllables. That sound like syllable chasing in rap. A lot of these rappers, they do compound syllables in their rhymes. And when they use street slang, which they would call some nonsense syllables. So we've been doing stuff like that. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So you would have had, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's why rap, so-called rap hip hop, that came back out of the Moorish Mississippian DNA, the Andalusian people's DNA. You know what I'm saying? Because we've always been doing it like that. That's just in our DNA. It's in our blood. It's Andalusi music. Andalusi music. Al-Maghriba. You know what I'm saying? And get out of here with the nonsense. You feel me? Now, it also said that Andalusian music inspired other genres like the French troubadours. You know what I'm saying? I heard of the French troubadours. Of course, European classical music. It doesn't say it in the article, but we already know that Andalusian music turned into jazz, blues, all bebop, doo-wop. You know what I'm saying? All of it is Andalusi music. Y'all can do the knowledge to the Alibaba trio, you know what I'm saying, back from like the 40s. And then you can do the knowledge to like, there was a so-called R&B doo-wop group called the Turbans in the 50s, you know what I'm saying, late 50s. And all type, you know what I'm saying, look at Lonnie Liston Smith, Pharoah Sanders and jazz and all that, Sun Ra. Do the knowledge to Sun Ra. Earth, Wind, and Fire, man. These ain't nothing but some Moorish, Egyptian, Mississippian, Andalusi musical composers. You know, Gamble and her from Philly. You know what I'm saying? Philly is Sheekamauga. You know what I'm saying? That's an old Muslim Islamic town. You know what I'm saying? Philadelphia, Philly soul, Andalusia, Sheekamauga. You know what I'm saying? Man, get out of here with the nonsense. So again, man, we putting the Hebrew Israelites in their place. Y'all got to claim Al-Yahudi, Al-Maghrib, or it ain't gonna be nothing. You know what I'm saying? And for real, y'all got to get down with the Moorish demonstration and check in with Mecca, or you ain't. Or for real, y'all are outlaws and y'all are out of bounds. It is what it is. This is Morocco, partner. You feel me? Now, just a couple more tidbits. Now, the Moroccan Jews. Again, one thing about the Moroccan Hebrews is they are under the oral Torah. Okay. Now, the others. A lot of these other so-called Hebrew demonstrations are under the Talmud, you know what I'm saying, and the Babylonian Talmud and all that. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but the original one thing, and it's a lot of debates about this, but it's really kind of a common understanding that the original God's law, so-called given to Moses, was supposed to be an oral Torah, so it was supposed to be memorized. It wasn't really supposed to be written down like that. They came later on and wrote down a lot of stuff, under duress and all of that stuff, which is ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to be real and you want to take it back to the source, y'all are supposed to be memorizing God's law. Y'all are supposed to be running up and down the street, holding scriptures open and yelling at people, reading scripture in front of people. If y'all really want to be keeping a buck, y'all supposed to memorize a lot of that stuff. Y'all supposed to be out there freestyling them scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That's really how y'all supposed to be doing. Al-Maghrib, Al-Yahud, Al-Maghrib. That's what y'all supposed to be doing. You feel me? So, just doing the knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? Now it says so-called rabbinic Judaism does not recognize the oral Torah as a divine authority. And again, not saying right or wrong, we just doing a delineation. Because the Moroccan for real is these brothers memorize it in the dome piece. You feel me? That's the oral Torah. That's old school. You know what I'm saying? That's Moses. You feel me? I said in Morocco, one thing about Morocco, this is how in Morocco, this is why we always had such a peaceful, cool society. Because we gave everybody their own jurisdiction. And it said the so-called Moroccan Hebrews, they always had their own courts in accordance, their own legal courts and their own system, and they could set up their own communities because, again, it was a confederacy. And again, you can look at a lot of the old so-called Indian and so-called confederacies in America, in Al-Maghriba, and a lot of them had either they were historically practicing a kind of an Israelite culture, which is really no different from the Muslim culture. It's all Moorish, or they were practicing a more Ishmaelite culture, you know what I'm saying? Or Yahud, a Moabite type of culture, which is Mohammedan. Literally damn near the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like they dress the same, they look the same. We beef sometimes, but we come together more often than not against foreigners and people who are not of the Mississippian blood type. You know what I'm saying? The Mississippian culture. You feel me? Or allied with that joke. You know what I'm saying? So. And then, even in the old Moroccan, you also even had so-called old school Christians up here. You know what I'm saying? They had their own demonstration. You know what I'm saying? But they dressed old school too. They would rock turbans. They would rock the real. They always said in so-called Spain, you couldn't tell the difference between a Jew, a Muslim, or a Christian because they all was the same because the high standard people in society was always of this phenotype. We always had the same culture and everybody could do their own thing, but everybody had to pay the Moorish tax. That's how you kept the society going because everybody knew the Moors were the protectors. You know what I'm saying? The Moabites. We were the military. We were the law enforcement. So everybody was cool with paying the Moorish tax because we protected everybody. We had the Navy. We had the Army. You know what I'm saying? So we kept the society in order. But everybody could practice their own thing. So you could be an Israelite and do your thing. Have your own joint. You know what I'm saying? The Moors was just running everything. We was protecting everything. You feel me? So again, Al-Yahudi, Al-Maghrib. Ain't gonna be no more yelling at people on corners and getting respect. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to section y'all because again, it just said the so-called Moroccan Hebrews had their own courts, their own communities and all that. Now y'all Al-Maghrib, y'all Yahud Al-Maghrib, y'all need to get off these corners, running your damn mouth, and actually go set up your communities. Put a Moroccan flag up, put your six up, and actually do your damn thing and stop running your damn mouth. Y'all ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't really doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Keep it a buck, man. Niggas got to start back paying them taxes, man. That's really what's wrong with this joint. A lot of y'all clowns want to stop paying this Moorish tax, and that's really when we fell off after 1816. Man, y'all got to start back paying that voluntary alms, you know what I'm saying? So we can get this shit back right. Y'all are sitting up here wasting time, playing, hating on each other and doing all type of nonsense when we all used to have a collective understanding that we had to look out for each other. Even though we had our own little disagreements, we understood who we were, so we had to look out for each other. So everybody would just contribute, regardless of what your demonstration designation was. You know what I'm saying? That's how we could. That's why we was able to win a lot of them Crusades battles, man. We stuck together, even with our disagreements and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, bro. Y'all just. All right, now let's just do the knowledge to. And I ain't knocking the Hebrew Israelites, man. We just, I ain't knocking too bad. We just gonna do the delineation between just organizations just shouting and yelling and actual nationalities. You know what I'm saying? With flags and real time nationhood, this real time moving as confederacies and nations for real. We ain't got time for all this. We ain't got time for all of this all the theatrics no more. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is just time wasting garbage. Y'all been doing that since 1900. It ain't got you nowhere. Sitting out here yelling and screaming and preaching on corners and doing all this and setting up your little temples and all that. I mean, that's cool, but it has not gotten nobody nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like as a collective. You know what I mean? It ain't, you know what I mean? So it's time to try something different, bro. For real. All right, now. Now, just some more notes. It said the Moroccan this is the delineation. This is how you know the so-called Hebrews were always in Morocco. You know, the original Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? They said the Moroccan pre-Sephardi Hebrews were called the Toshavim, and the post, so the Toshavim, those are the original Moroccan so-called Hebrews that was here prior to the 1492 mass migration, fleeing the Reconquista. And they said the post 1492 were called the Magorashim. You know what I'm saying? Magorashim. So just remember those words. It's Toshavim and Magorashim. So Toshavim is the so-called Al-Moroccan, so-called Yahudis. There was, you know what I'm saying? They've been here for a long, they've been in Morocco for a long time. And the Magorashim are the ones, the Sephardis that came after 1492 in large numbers. You know what I'm saying? All right, now, one more thing. Let me see before I go into that. Let's see, we're going to have to break this up into 2 segments, but let me see. Nasheed. Let's see. Okay, I don't see this. All right. Anyway. Oh, okay. I also wanted to talk about, it has some notes on how, if you look at the henna, the tradition of henna, you know, like when the ladies kind of when the ladies kind of do them removable tattoos on themselves, they showed that was a real big, and the Muslims do that too, but they say that was a huge tradition with the original Moroccan Hebrews or the Moroccan Yahudis, you know what I'm saying? So doing the henna thing, the ladies writing the henna on their arms, real pretty stuff, you know what I'm saying, when they do that. That was a real big tradition with the so-called Moroccan Jews, you know what I'm saying? So just know that that's a big part of y'all culture that y'all supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, if you really want to be a traditionalist. And they say that the men wear jalabas and the women wear ornate kaftains. You know what I'm saying? They just, you know, again, they dress with the long tunics. Those are jalabas. I forget how to pronounce that, but in the kaftains. And it literally looks no different from the so-called, the way you see the Moors of America or the so-called Moorish Indian or the American Indians, and then people like their traditionalist way of dressing. They dressed the exact same. They wore the long tunics, they wore turbans with feathers. The ladies wore them long, pretty dresses, you know what I'm saying, with the, you know what I'm saying, the kaftains, this very ornate. They had the jewels and all that stuff all on them. I mean, we've always been rocking. We always been fly as hell. You know what I'm saying? It was even more fly back in the day. Y'all ain't even as fly as y'all used to be, to keep it a buck. All right. Now, let's see. Now we're just gonna do the knowledge to, you know, the so-called Hebrew Israelites, and just, you know, their history and all of that. Not knocking it, we just gonna do a delineation, man. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, the so-called Hebrew Israelites. We just going, you know, they say it's just doing the knowledge. They say the origins of the Hebrew Israelites are two brothers one named Frank Cherry and one named William Crowdy. Okay. Now they say Frank Cherry, he founded the Church of God and Saints of Christ in 1896. He was a, you know, traditionalist Hebrew. You know, say he was one of the early so-called Hebrew Israelites. And it said that William Crowder founded the Church of God and Saints of Christ in 1896. And Frank Cherry founded the Church of God and Saints. Yeah, I got them confused, but it don't matter. They both founded their own little separate churches, Israelite churches or whatever, in the late 1800s. But interestingly enough, it said that when Cherry founded his church, and these are the early so-called progenitors of the Hebrew Israelite movement, you know what I'm saying? But it said that Cherry taught that the Talmud was authoritative. You know what I'm saying? So he's teaching from the demonstration of the Talmud. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, we're not knocking the Talmud or nothing like that. But it's just like, one thing that you got to do the knowledge to is the oral Torah. And you know what I'm saying? The oral tradition of God's law being memorized, which is an old Moroccan tradition. You know what I'm saying? In Morocco. You know what I mean? So the old school Yahudis, they will memorize it. They weren't really about, and this is pre-Roman conquest and all that. They were more so on the dealing with the oral Torah and memorizing God's law and all of that. That's just doing a delineation. So, and he also taught that Jesus would return in the year 2000. He said that, you know, the pioneers of that, these two brothers were, you know, they were in hidden hand organizations. We already know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Now, but what the main aspect of the current so-called Hebrew Israelites demonstration that you see out here on these streets now. That a lot of that comes from this brother right here. His name was Wentworth Arthur Matthew, and he was from St. Kitts. so the player's already in. You know what I'm saying? He ain't really, you know what I mean? He's from St. Kitts. So, and there's nothing wrong with again, not knocking nobody from abroad and Caribbean or nothing like that, but we talking about Mississippi and Moroccan Yahudi people. You know what I'm saying? Like the original Sephardis that came, the original Sephardic so-called Hebrews that came back to Morocco, and the ones that were already here dealing with us. This is specifically for the Moroccans. You know what I'm saying? So you already know the play is in when you got somebody from St. Kitts. You know what I'm saying? Starting the situation up here. So check it out. Let's do the knowledge on Wentworth Arthur Matthew from St. Kitts. He founded an Israelite sect in Harlem. In Harlem, and he moved it to Brooklyn in 1930. So, and he said in 1930 he formed the Israelite Rabbinical Seminary, and he said this particular demonstration is really what birthed a lot of the so-called the demonstrations you see a lot of the so-called Hebrew Israelites doing right now, which they yelling at you on street corners and doing all that, you know what I'm saying, doing all this. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting up there, just yelling and screaming on corners and stuff like that. Again, I'm not knocking. Get your message out how you want to get it out. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing that we're trying to get across to people right now is that's all well and good. You know what I'm saying? But we need to really start dealing with like logistics, economics, and military science here. You know what I'm saying? So you need to start claiming an actual nation, and there's no such thing as no Hebrew Israelite nation in America. There's no such thing. Unless y'all are going to claim the state of Israel right now and go back there, there's no such thing as no Hebrew Israelite nation. But there is an Al-Moroccan empire that still exists. And it's on the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that is still active. So y'all have to claim Al-Yahud Al-Maghribi. Y'all gotta quit playing games. We trying to raise up in real time around here and do things that are practical. So yelling and screaming and running your mouths on with these friend shirts on, I mean, it's just not gonna get nothing done. It's not gonna get nothing constructive done out here. So y'all really need to come to Morocco and check in. You know what I'm saying? Just come to Mecca, come home, come to Mecca, and check in. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's do the knowledge, man. Okay, and he also set up the so-called Ethiopian Hebrew Rabbinical College. So if anything calling itself Ethiopian, there's nothing wrong with Ethiopia, but that's not American. So you already know that demonstration that he set up that pretty much transformed into the current Hebrew Israelite demonstration. It's not an American demonstration. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You got religious freedom, do what you want to do, but there's nothing practical is going to come. Nothing practical or substantial in real time is going to come from a non-American demonstration in Morocco. It just isn't. It does not have the frequency of the land. It does not have nothing. Y'all are not dealing with the oral Torah. Y'all are not dealing with any Moroccan traditions. For real. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are just not. I ain't never heard, like I said, I ain't never heard a Hebrew Israelite say nothing about no Andalusian music, but it just said in an article that the so-called Moroccan Jews helped develop, and they were instrumental in developing Andalusi Classical music, which is the present day American music. I ain't never heard a Hebrew Israelite talk about that. So that's how I know y'all ain't dealing with Moroccan customs or anything like that. You know, y'all just not. It is what it is. All right. Let's see. And I also, you can read books like The History of American Indians by James Adair and Old Canaan in the New World. It talks about kind of James Adair studies by Elizabeth Fenton. And it talks about like the historic so-called Barbary nations, the tribes like the Chickasaw, and how they were heavy Israelite. It even talks about how some of the so-called Creek tribes or the Mekasuki tribes had a lot of Hebrew Israelite traditions in their customs and all of that, which is Muslim. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? To these outsiders, they think it's all the same. But again, the Chickasaw and these type of people, they were Moroccan Yahudi. They were Al-Yahudi Al-Maghribi. They were not no Hebrew Israelites. The Chickasaw and these type of Southern Barbary tribes and Mississippian nations were not no Hebrew Israelites. They were Al-Yahudi Al-Maghribi. Okay? Man, raise your frequency up and get off the goofball shit. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, also, before I close this particular dropout, wanted to do the knowledge to one real one that came. He was Caribbean, but he was a real one. And he knew what time it was. And if you gonna really go in and try to push, get down with the Hebrew, deal with the Israelite situation in Morocco at the Al-Moroccan Empire, Al-Maroc, you gonna have to handle your business like this brother did back in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? This brother named Moradisi Herman. And we've already talked about the Moorish Zionist temple, but we're gonna go over that real quick before we close this out. Moradisi Herman. This brother was a real Al-Moroccan Jew, some Al-Moroccan Hebrew. He founded the Moorish Zionist temple in Harlem in 1921. Okay. Now he was documented as saying he believed that some of the so-called Afro-Caribbean people, okay, were mixed with Sephardi Jews. And we just talked about how Sephardi people were people who were fleeing the Inquisition in Spain. So they came back to America. So if he had that type of knowledge back then, he was talking about Sephardi. Because again, you don't hear none of these Hebrew Israelite cats out here talking about being Sephardis or nothing like that. I ain't never heard of it. I don't necessarily follow a lot of that stuff, but I don't hear them pushing that line like that. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? But this brother said he believed that a lot of the Afro-Caribbean people were mixed with Sephardi Jew, which some of them were, to keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? People were coming back over here, so some of them did go to the Caribbean, flee in Spain. You know what I'm saying? They might have kept their culture up. And you had a lot of clowns that came and messed the Caribbean up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of Inquisitionists and, Congolese and people in Spanish, Catholics and all, they coming messing up the Caribbean and all that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the clowns are still there, but you did have some original ones that was there. You know what I'm saying? It was down with the Al-Moroccan Empire that was there too. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see. It said that Moradisi Herman, he spoke Hebrew, he spoke fluent Hebrew, and he spoke some Yiddish. So that was really his culture. Like it wasn't one of y'all just walking around and then y'all hear some brother on the corner speaking. You start reading the Bible and then you think you a Hebrew Israelite. No, this brother was a real one. Like he really knew his culture. He spoke Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? He knew the culture. And he talked about he was a Sephardi. And then he set up the Moorish Zionist temple, not the Hebrew Israelite temple, the Moorish Zionist temple, which means he was a Moroccan Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Keep it a buck, man. Man, get out of here with that nonsense, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, now. Yeah, I just want to do the knowledge. Y'all look up the Moorish Zionist temple, man. That's one real so-called Hebrew. He knew what he was talking about. Even though he was from the Caribbean, he knew what the hell he was talking about. He said the Moorish Zionist temple, not the Hebrew Israelite, the Moorish Zionist. And again, I don't got no problem with beef with no Hebrew Israelites, man. But, just understand. There is no nationality in America called Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? It's only Moroccan. So you're going to be a Moorish Zionist, a Moorish Hebrew, or you're going to be Al-Yahud Al-Maghribi, or you're just going to be a goofy. You know what I mean? You're just going to be out here running your damn mouth. Y'all got the right. You got the right to do that as opposed to, religious freedom. You got the right to do that in America, especially with the so-called, you know what I'm saying, the powers that be running everything. But understand, this is one thing y'all got to understand. Y'all are never going to get anything constructive or practical accomplished with that demonstration if you're not talking about you're a Moroccan. Okay? So y'all need to check in. Y'all need to go to Mecca. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to holler at the peoples and folks. The real Mississippian demonstration. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to holler at the Mo's. Y'all need to holler at the MST of A. Y'all need to holler at a real Mo. Y'all need to get back down with Morocco where you belong. You know what I'm saying? All this foreign stuff, it just do what you want to do. You got the Most High, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got free will. Do what you want to do. But you're just not going to get anything constructive, fulfilling, or substantial accomplished in Morocco with a non-nationalized type of demonstration. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Sheekamauga Alamassee-El tapping in live. I'll tap back in with y'all in a minute. Peace.